Welcome, Bulldog fans. Not evening. It's well after midnight here at Dudenville Field, but the echoes have finally faded after Mississippi State defeats Miami 5-2 to advance to the Super Regional round. Mississippi State's fourth straight regional championship, Steve, and as we have often talked, the fourth straight under a different head coach. We'll be researching more about what we are pretty darn sure is history, but right now the history Mississippi State fans are talking about is what this team can make after taking care of their business and advancing to the Super Regional round.
And David, it was a glorious day today, and Mississippi State gets down 1-0. Peyton Plumlee leaves the ball up, but really settled down from there and pitched some of his best baseball of the season. State gets just enough offense together. Next thing you know, this crowd kind of wills the Bulldogs along. It's like once State tied it, you just kind of felt like they were going to get the lead and hold the lead. But David, the biggest part of holding that lead, some well-timed pitches that rolled up some big double plays.
And as I asked Coach Chris Lamonis, this team, because it is a power pitching team, gets a lot of strikeouts, a lot of fly balls, they haven't had a lot of opportunities for double plays, just 27 in the regular season. But this defense, which admittedly it's still a patchwork in a lot of ways with a lot of guys not playing maybe their natural position, they made every play that mattered tonight and should have probably had 3 double plays. One was overruled and the inning continued, but the relief staff took care of that. So the Bulldog defense comes through, the bullpen comes through, Peyton Plumlee gives you a good start, and the offense, as you said, does just enough at the right time and right places to send State through the championship round.
And David, the ground ball from Peyton Plumlee, we spoke to Miami a little bit later getting to Miami than we anticipated, but they referenced that, the great sink that Peyton Plumlee had, and we've talked about that before. When Peyton Plumlee is at his best, he's getting under barrels and forcing teams to beat the ball in the ground. They finally adjusted, but by that time, Mississippi State had kind of stretched the lead out just a little bit. And then Jared Liebelt coming back on short rest, throwing a career-long, 51 pitches, I guess, on Friday, just 1 day's rest, comes back. And really gave State, when Kobe White came out in the 7th, I'm sure State fans were thinking, man, can he go 2 more innings? And no, he can't. But Jared to come back, and what a story of redemption, and to come back and roll that double play ball to get out of that bases loaded jam. At that point, it really felt like the ball game was over.
Especially because you had Cole Gordon in the bullpen. And, yes, Coach Chris Lamonis said last night that he was the one pitcher not available tonight. And he admitted in the ninth that he was talking, said, I wish I hadn't said that to the media because he knew the questions would come. Hey, nobody second-guessed him calling on Cole because they had an error that puts the first base runner on. Cole, cool as he could be, gets this save, his second of the weekend, his third appearance. He did not make the all-tournament team. Shame there. But he was the pitcher of the weekend for the Bulldogs, and a great story for him, for a Florida guy to take care of an in-state team like the Hurricanes.
No doubt about it, David. It's one of those things, too. We all get to vote on that all-tournament team, and thankfully I was part of the I got them all right. But
not that he's bragging or anything.
No, but I'll tell you, if we'd be able to vote after the game as opposed to in the 8th inning, I would have voted Cole Gordon because he was instrumental in all 3 Bulldog victories and certainly worthy of inclusion on that team. But the bottom line is Rowdy Jordan, a huge weekend. And that was one of the things early in the season, David. A lot of people are thinking, man, we just need to sit him. We need to sit him. Well, Lamonis doesn't do that. They allow him to work through it. Now here he is, an NCAA regional clincher, the MVP of the regional. What a tremendous story for Rowdy Jordan.
And by the way, a trivia note, the first home run hit out of this new Polk DeMint Stadium last season, still under construction, was by Rowdy Jordan. The first home run hit by a Bulldog in postseason play out of here, Rowdy Jordan. You could have got awfully long odds on that. You'd have had great odds going into the year saying Jake Mangum would have a big regional. Well, he didn't. But he had the game he needed to have when it mattered most, the title round. He came into this game 0 for 9, was outed on his first pitch, but then came back with 3 hits. By the way, he is now alone in number 5 NCAA career history for base hits. But when you get Jake Mangum and Jordan Westberg back swinging and Tanner Allen hitting 500 over the last 14 games now, you feel awfully good about the top of the order now going into Super Regional round.
You absolutely do. And one of the concerns this week is going to be the health of JT Ganna. We've talked to some people, and we did talk to Coach Lamonis. Everybody's pretty much non-committal. It's going to be a wait-and-see thing, and it's not to say that he wouldn't be available. It may be a situation, though, David, and we're going to talk more about this. Mississippi State likely gets a Saturday, Sunday, Monday Super Regional, which would be big for not only JT Gann, but Peyton Plumlee and Ethan Small. And so this is a Bulldog pitching staff put a lot of pitches on in play this past weekend, and so that extra day's rest could be a big deal.
Now, don't take that to the bank yet, especially don't hold up on your ticket purchase because of that.
Correct.
We say this because Stanford has come back to win tonight to force a Monday game. And typical of the NCAA, when they have the flexibility, it doesn't always work this way, but they like to take a team that's had to play into Monday and give them the extra day because 4 regionals will start on Friday and 4 super regionals will start on Saturday. Mississippi State's pitching staff wants that extra day. Now you give Ethan Small a full week's rest. You're able to rest JT Ginn, see how that upper arm soreness develops. You give Peyton Plumlee, who threw a lot tonight, a chance to get ready for Saturday if he's going to be needed like that. And you get guys like Brandon Smith and, of course, obviously the full bullpen ready as well for the weekend. So State wants that. So that's what we're looking for. The official announcement of the days, the times, and for that matter, the opponent will be settled sometime tomorrow. Steve, Mississippi State expected to win this regional. Yes. You and I expected to win this regional. And a lot of people said this was probably, I think, the 3rd easiest regional by RPI calculations. It was not so. Southern University, a very good ball team that's revived. Central Michigan, the most fun ball team we've had around here in a long time. Miami, a young team, only 1 junior, no seniors, but all sorts of talent. Mississippi State had to earn this regional against a good field, no matter what people said going into the weekend.
Well, you had the MAC Conference Championship team here, you had the SWAC champions here, and you had Miami, who probably should have hosted one more win in their conference tournament. They're probably a host, and they showed up with a chip on their shoulder. They may have pouted a little bit through that ball game against Central Michigan the first time. They scored 30 runs over the next 2 ball games and come out here with a lot of momentum. And the bottom line, David, this Miami team, and we talked about this privately, they're going to be scary good next year. They did not start an upperclassman in this ball game tonight, and that's pitching all the way up and down the lineup. And so when you begin to think about it's good to get them now, I hope that we can avoid them altogether next year. But the bottom line is the Hurricanes are rebounding. They were arguably the toughest 2 seed in the field. You could debate that about a couple other teams, but Mississippi State given no favors by Miami coming here, and you kind of exercise some old demons, David. We hadn't beaten Miami since 1970.
I wasn't there. So I have to always say things like that these days. But exercise a few demons, as you say. Coach Chris Lamonis in his first NCAA regional at Mississippi State gets a regional championship. Again, as we said, 4th straight coach, probably never been done in NCAA, may never, ever be done again. A great accomplishment for this team, but now they turn attention to whoever they play. And by the way, another reason the Bulldogs don't want to start until Saturday is the PR staff. The Major League Draft starts tomorrow. There's a whole bunch of dogs, maybe not the first day after Ethan Small and maybe Jake Mangum, that is much worried about being called in the first day when only a couple of top rounds are done. But once you get into the next days, Tuesday and Wednesday, some guys are going to be feeling a little pressure out at practice, and that's true across all college baseball. Let's be honest about that. The guys at either Stanford or Fresno will feel the same. But you'd like to give it another day to let that settle before they get into regional play. So if that's the worst thing the Bulldogs have to worry about where they're drafted this week, I think the mindset's going to be pretty darn good going into the Super Regional.
Absolutely, and it's just one of those, David's, it's a necessary evil in our game. They're going to have the MLB draft right in the middle of the postseason. Now, the good thing this year is it falls really on an off day for most teams. There'll be a couple teams playing on Monday, but by and large, most of the hay is in the barn this week and for this regional. And so there'll be a Monday through Wednesday deal. We do expect Ethan to be the only guy taken on the first day. Jake and several more probably on the second day. And one of the things, too, to kind of caution people, Jake Mangum is a guy that it will be very attractive in the top 10 rounds because he is a senior. The way the collective bargaining agreement works, you have no leverage with those guys anymore. So they can say, hey, here's what we're willing to pay you, and then they can use some out of slot money to pay somebody else a little bit more. So when you see Jake's name called, it will be much higher than it has been historically, but he's going to get a chance to play some pro baseball. But before they're done with all that, we got a lot more baseball to play here at this place next weekend. And another big note, David, Mississippi State, the only team in the country to advance to 4 straight super regionals, 16, 17, 18, and now 19. Bulldogs have been to Omaha in back-to-back years just one time. I know you remember that, David, 97, 98. It would be a nice way to kind of close this thing out, to get back there and kind of really show people Mississippi State's back.
Well, you have a Bulldog baseball team that will accept nothing short of Omaha. They've said that all season. Yes, teams like to talk that way. This team meant it. And I don't think the pressure got to them all year. I was a little worried about today that maybe it would start getting to them a bit, and Peyton Plumlee took care of that, got them off to a good start. Yes, he gave up the home run, but the team settled in. They beat a younger, very talented, but a younger team. They did what a veteran team should do, and now they've set their sights on winning another Super Regional championship, which would be their third in let's see, what, 6 years, something like that, counting the 2013 season as well. A great accomplishment for the program, but still a lot to be done. Of course, the draft coming up. And Steve and I will be chronicling the whole thing. Robbie has filed the flash story already. Gene has his photo gallery up. I've got to go write a game story. My wife will be waiting at home. Well, she's probably cashed in a long time ago, but the dogs will wake up when I roll in. But that's what you do this time of year because it's tournament baseball at Mississippi State University. Ticket information will be available on hailstate.com, again, once the days and matchups are set. But let's put it this way. I expect Ducats to be at a premium if possible. So everybody make your plans to be here whenever it's announced. If you have to use up some summer vacation time, burn it. It will be worth it because that, as Jake Mangum likes to say, this stadium was built for postseason baseball. We're here. Let's do it again next weekend. For our entire crew at Gene Space 24/7, for Steve Robertson, this is David Murray at Dunhill Field. Go Dogs, and see you this weekend.